Hello there, this is my oral book report for environmental science. The book I read is Hope, Human, and Wild by Bill McKibben. This is Bill McKibben's second book in response to his first book, The End of Nature, depicting the destruction that humans have caused to our planet. In Hope, Human, and Wild, McKibben has described 3 places on the planet that have brought himself hope, hope and encouragement towards a sustainable future. These places are the Adirondack Mountains in New York, Curitiba, Brazil, and Kerala, India. McKibben's main goal in this book is to show that it is possible to reach a sustainable future for this planet. I think also that McKibben is trying to show that there really isn't one cookie-cutter way to obtain a sustainable future. Chapter 1 is about the Adirondack Mountains in New York. This is where Bill McKibben lives. And one of the positives about this place is since the settlers first arrived on the East Coast, New York is on the East Coast, so the East Coast really experienced a lot of destruction and deterioration to the environment when the settlers first came. And what I really liked about what he described about these mountains is that they were really able to bounce back after some time, and how there's new growth, and how you can still see the remnants of houses from the settlers, but growth from the trees and plants have grown over those. So I thought that was really interesting to be able to see how we would be able to bounce back. Our world isn't coming to an end per se, that we still have the opportunity to make a change. One negative that I did have about this particular region is that I was really disappointed to hear that there is still a lot of deforestation and destruction going on in that area. Bill McKibben talks about how not too far from where he lives there is a clear cut of forests, meaning that there has been miles and miles of forests just taken down, and how I was really disappointed because I thought for sure that we were at this point now, where yes, we need paper and we need wood to make things, but every time, we cut down a tree, we should replace it, is how I kind of felt. And I was just disappointed to find that that really isn't how things are going on. The next place, chapter 2 in this book, is Curitiba, Brazil. And this is a place that I would really love to travel to and to go see. It had a lot of positives for me. Some of the positives that I really felt gave me good ideas is how they had completely changed their transportation system there. They had taken what they had was old buses, and they created them into super fast, super efficient, almost like a subway or railway system. And what they did in addition to that is they closed off the main road of the town and turned that into a kind of walking strip mall. And all of the transportation then travels around the outside roads and streets of the city. And at first I thought that was extremely odd, because doing that here just was hard to imagine, even in the town that I live in, because the main road here is, it's a main road. It's very busy. So it was a little difficult to imagine, but the way the book describes it describes it as being able to get people where they need to go at a cheap rate, so it's not expensive, and it's sustainable because they used the materials that they already had. They just adapted them to something new. Another positive was I really liked how they had set up these laws to have a license for cutting down trees, even trees that are already on their property. I thought that was really significant, because here I think people would be very upset that someone else is saying, hey, you have to pay a fine because you cut down a tree in your own yard. People people here generally tend to have that sense of, well, I own this, so I can do whatever I want. So I thought it was really interesting that they would have laws set up like that, where you have to have a license to cut down a tree, and even when you do have a license to cut down a tree, you have to replace it with a new one. And I really liked that. I thought that that was an efficient way and a great way to sustain our, their own environment, their surrounding environment, that is. So I thought that was such a great idea, and thought how beneficial it would be if the entire U.S. or even my entire town was like that. So I thought that was really great. One of the negatives that I had for this little town in Brazil is some of the people really didn't agree with the things that the town was doing, and I thought how frustrated those people must be, and how does a town come to resolve that problem? And I really liked how the mayor of Curitiba describes how to solve the problem, and he does it simply by saying it's for the town, and I really liked what that says. I feel like what it says is, it's not just about you, it's not just about this other guy, it's about everyone, and it's a benefit for everyone to have. And I really thought that was a great way of looking at things, and it really gave that sense of community that I feel here in the United States that we really lack. I mean, or at least in my community, I feel like we really lack that sense of community. The next place and the last chapter is Kerala, India. Kerala is a place that is very surprising because it, when most people think India, they think third world country. So they think, oh, a lot of poverty, a lot of problems. But this place in particular, is well known for their education. And maybe not for owning a lot of things or for being very rich, but being very rich in education, and they're less. This particular town is actually less impoverished than other towns in India, and I thought that was very interesting. And in the book, he describes it as a town that you would see, that you would expect in modern day United States, and that's how well it does. So I just thought, what an interesting town this is. I should know more about it. One of their positives is they really focus on their education. Everybody and anybody can go to school, and it doesn't cost a whole lot. And I think that in order to get out of poverty, that is something that everyone is going to need, is education. One of my main concerns towards a sustainable future is that I believe that people want to care for our planet, but are unable to be willing to leave their comfort zones to reach sustainability. I'm concerned that it will be too difficult to encourage a lot of people that it is possible to reach sustainability, but with some sacrifice on everyone's part. I'm just not sure if everyone's going to kind of jump on that bandwagon. I also wonder how each part of the planet would be able to renovate themselves in order to reach that sustainability. It sounds like it would require a lot of ideas and innovation from each country's part, and I'm not sure if everyone would be willing to do that. So those were kind of some conflicts and main concerns that I had about the book. Would people be able to even consider the idea of reaching sustainability without having to sacrifice so much? And from there, how would we be able to come up with all these different ideas and these new ways to incorporate that into each country, each town, each city? So I found that to be a little difficult to reach. My personal impressions of the book. It inspired me to think outside the box. Sustainability. It taught me that sustainability doesn't mean that we have to come up with new technology or new ideas. It just requires a lot of thought and planning with the materials that we already have. I also learned that sustainability may require some sacrifice, but that it does not mean that we have to sacrifice any quality of life. So, you know, being sustainable may require sacrifices on my part, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be unhappy about it. I also found hope in the proof that there are always opportunities to kind of bounce back. There may not have to be a point of no return after all. And I found that very encouraging. So I hope that you all are able to take the time to read Hope, Human, and Wild by Bill McKibben. Again, True Stories of Living Lightly on the Earth. I would highly recommend it. It's a great read and very inspirational. Thank you again for tuning in.